welcome to Talking Down the Highway, a Beach Boys podcast presented by Strange Currencies Music. I'm Matt.
I'm Glenn.
I'm Tim.
How you guys doing?
Strange Currencies Music.com on the Instagrams, on the YouTubes.
It's been a week since we talked about it.
Mm-hmm. Hey, we gotta get our plugs in up front.
Talking Beach Boys on Instagram.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, speaking of, usually we open things with like a little kind of a recap or, corrections and revisions. And,
Perfect episode, last week.
Yeah, it was. Mm-hmm. Listener updates and whatnot. What's happening on the Instagrams there, Timothy? Any exciting happenings on there? Any comments on there? Any? It's been quiet, huh?
So let's see.
We need to rustle up some controversies.
Yeah, I'm not very good about posting. I posted for International Brian Day. Hey, it's a day for Brians.
Mm-hmm. Yay, go Brians!
It's a good thing we didn't let that one slip away.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. Gotta acknowledge it.
Some people commented on the Surf's Up post.
Mm-hmm.
One person named Dyslexic, which is a funny name, says Feel Flows is their favorite Beach Boys song. When I am very overwhelmed or depressed, this song really helps me. It is like a meditation to listen to this, which I very much agree with.
Yeah.
Meditative, therapeutic song. And I had picked a very somber image of Brian in shadow.
Feeling all of the flows.
Yes, that's right. But yeah,
all the feels flowing through. It's good. Yeah, you should
we got
check
all
it out.
kinds of comments on the Full House one.
Oh yeah, that's right.
It's a little. I think I missed the Full House.
So
what happened?
That was for Sunflower.
Oh.
I made a joke that we were talking Jesse and the Rippers. Yeah, they're playing. So you got Stamos and Carl both with acoustic guitars, but they're from BC Rich, so they have the BC Rich headstock on them. It's ridiculous. It's like they welded an electric guitar to an acoustic body. Headstocks are terrible. Matt says, and the head on that guy in the middle is massive. That's Bruce.
Are we talking literally Bruce's head? Like, did somebody tape measure this, or are we speaking in metaphors here?
See, I'm a big-headed person, so I can tell looking at somebody if their head is like disproportionately.
That guy needs
I've got
to
a radar
order his hat.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Just like me.
His hats are usually made out of two other hats put together.
If you look closely, there's a seam right down the middle.
Okay.
But yeah, so that's you're missing a lot on the Instagram.
Yeah, and Stamos, he's got an autobiography out these days. I was at Powell's, I saw it, his big old head like looking at me, and I was like,
his head's not as big.
But when it's on a big size book on the shelf there, it glares at you, catches you off guard. Stamos's little smarmy.
Probably not going to read that one.
Yeah, I'm not going to read that one.
You mean we're not covering it for an episode?
Although I did read the Mike Love autobiography. Yeah. That was painful.
Well, he read it to you, I believe.
Yeah,
he did.
Dropped the N-word in there too.
That's right.
Which
he's allowed to do.
That happened. Well, I mean,
He went to a mostly black high school, I guess, and that's why.
I don't think that's true, right?
Apparently that is true. But
Well,
that's why he can claim to have black friends.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. On a totally unrelated note, I, for whatever reason, went back and listened to some of our old podcasts, like from the old show, because I had nothing else I was wanting to listen to. And I was like, all right. So I'm like driving to work, and I was listening to some good stuff.
Huh. Which episodes did you listen to?
Let's see. The 1996 one.
Oh, yeah.
Where we went back to Glenn's high school.
My high school
where you're talking about your bowl cut.
Yeah, that's good. Gin Blossoms.
Yeah. All that Gin Blossoms stuff.
I still have a soft spot for the Gin Blossoms. I don't know.
Yeah.
Guilty pleasures. It is what it is.
And then the Replacing Rumors.
Okay.
Yeah.
What did I suggest? The Residents or
No. You suggested Captain Fantastic and the Brown Dirt Cowboy.
Yeah. Elton John.
Yeah, Fleetwood Mac's Rumors is overrated.
It's not just overrated; it sucks.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
When it's too early to rile people up. Here we are on the Beach Boys podcast here, finding controversies left and right. It is.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Coke-induced albums, We got one of those that we're talking about this week.
All right. All right.
I don't think it's that, but okay.
I don't know. I mean, I just feel like anything that sounds 70s is coked out in my mind. It's just, I don't know. I don't know. This is kind of a cokey record, but
All right. This will be good. I'm excited.
hey, let's take a quick break and we'll come back and talk about what we're talking about this week then.
I guess.
All right, we are back. And this week we're talking about the Netherlands?
Holland.
It's the place where the Dutch live.
So, Denmark? No.
Amsterdam.
That's
Those
the
are
Danish.
Danes.
Those are the
Yeah.
Danish.
The Danes.
You know,
You know in high
you know what
school-
they say? You can always tell a Dutchman, but you can't tell him much.
Wow. We just lost a whole bunch of listeners
Wow,
in,
that was kinda
in the
racist.
Netherlands.
I had a friend in high school who had a shirt that said that.
Wow.
Yeah. And he was Dutch. Like his last
Okay.
name was actually Dutch.
The only other country besides Canada I've ever been to is the Netherlands. And
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, the Dutch are kind of rude.
Are they really?
I don't get the sense that they're unintelligent, but maybe that's what that means. You can't tell them much because they're just like, go away.
Maybe. They're standoffish.
A little bit. I just remember being on the little tram, and there were other Americans on there, and it got to a stop, and the back door, the middle door of the tram, didn't open. And they asked the guy after it was moving again, "How come that door didn't open?" And he says, "Push the button, yeah." Duh.
Yeah, come on.
Push the button.
Stupid American.
Anyway.
I've never been to the Netherlands, but I want to go.
Yeah,
Like
it's pretty
Amsterdam
cool.
looks like a really, really fucking cool city.
That's where I went. It was pretty cool.
I a couple of years ago, almost now, I did an article on the Nederbeach scene.
Really?
Which made me want to go to. I mean, that's like basically like going to the Netherlands, right? Writing an article on the
Yeah.
music from there. Sure. Yeah. So
It's pretty cool. Let's do a trip.
Yeah.
Field trip. So
Yeah.
yeah, this album is called Holland.
maybe next time the Beach Boys cruise will sail to Amsterdam.
That'd be nice.
I just got my passport, so let's do it.
All right.
But as Glenn mentioned in the last episode, the Beach Boys had been to Holland,
They have.
where they were very well received.
They're big in the
and
Netherlands.
they were at this point already considering moving to England because they're generally better received in the UK. A lot of these more
well
recent
because
albums.
they live in London. No,
That's right.
they live.
According to that one album they put out called The Beach Boys
or
Live
they
in
think
London.
you should live in
Well,
London.
there's
It's one
a
of the
couple
two.
ways.
They
It's
were
open to
never particularly
interpretation.
clear about that.
Yeah. There's a lot of debate online, but they ended up going to basically right outside of Amsterdam. They decide that's going to be their home base. We're relocating to Amsterdam. Everyone come.
They're like like on a farm, basically.
Right.
Well, so they all lived in their own houses.
Right. They're all in different suburbs around.
in
Amsterdam.
different areas, but they would convene.
The recording was in
at
a
this,
barn.
in this barn.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
not by choice, because as the story goes, all of the studios in the Netherlands are booked.
Yeah.
In Amsterdam are booked.
Right.
So their next best bet is they find a barn.
Which was apparently already a studio to some.
Yeah, but I think it just
hadn't
wasn't.
been used
It didn't
through-
suit their their
Right.
purposes, so they had to gut it anyways. And
Right. Well, and they
brought all their own.
They had to ship. They had to
Right.
dismantle a lot of Brian's studio in LA and ship
Right.
it and reassemble it, which is kind of crazy.
and
Brian said it cost $190,000 to do that.
Well, the grand total for the whole album, according to Wikipedia, was like $250,000, which is equivalent to $1.7 million.
Yeah.
yikes.
I was reading in the Sail on Sailor box set too that Al really did not want to go to the Netherlands.
Yeah.
He wanted to go to the south of France.
Okay.
Where apparently the Rolling Stones had a mobile recording studio set up, because I think they had done. Let's say they recorded Exile in France, which is Exile,
funny.
which is where the name I guess came from. They were in all, the bad boys of the Stones were on the run from the law or whatever. Of
course.
But yeah, Al wanted to go to France, and he got outvoted, and it was apparently Jack Riley who was really pushing the Netherlands thing.
Jack Riley actually moves to Amsterdam and decides he's going to set up his shop from there.
That's right. That ends up being his home base. Well, I mean, Dennis wouldn't very much like living in Amsterdam either. He moves to the Canary Islands during this process. And just comes to the studio every once in a while. That's why he doesn't have any vocals really on this, or lead vocals, even on the songs he wrote. But Brian didn't want to go eat. This is deep in his bathrobe era.
Yeah, bathrobe era.
Mm-hmm. His family moves first. His wife and kids move there first, and he's left behind. But he's got all these obligations to from the record label and the group and his family. Apparently, the only thing that kind of stirred him, made him feel better about going, was listening to the Randy Newman album "Sail Away."
Ooh, yeah,
over and over and over and over again, and he was relating to the lyrics, and I don't know.
Okay,
I don't know Randy Newman very well.
It's a great album.
"Sail Away" is a great album.
It's really good.
I have trouble taking Randy Newman's voice seriously because I always just hear the Toy Story song.
Yeah, right. No, it's great. It's a great album.
But yeah, he eventually went to Holland. It took him 3 attempts, I guess, to get on the plane and go to Holland. And then when he got there,
wait, what does that mean? 3 attempts?
I don't know. I couldn't find any elaboration on
how
that.
far did he get? Did he get to the?
Yeah, I don't know. And
city seated on the plane?
I don't know if that means he had 3 different tickets and he crapped out, or if he just had to I don't know. So I couldn't find details on that. But after he landed, he went and hid in the duty-free lounge apparently for hours, and they thought they'd lost him. The airline, they had to track him down and find him, but eventually, he ended up living in a little.
So
house with his
even
family.
Brian makes the trek to Holland,
right?
So the whole gang's
Crazy.
here.
Yeah.
Another contextual point that I thought was interesting is that there's a housing shortage in Holland at the time.
That's right. They put someone in charge of find houses for everybody.
Find everybody a house.
And they only found 4.
Right. And they needed 11.
Yeah.
And so it's because the entourage is big at this point, right?
Mm-hmm.
We got Ricky and Blondie now. We got some wives. We got some kids that are coming. Because I don't know, how long did they anticipate this album was going to take?
I don't know.
Because they're straight up moving.
Right.
So I mean, this is
They were only there for
a few months,
3 or 4 months, right?
Something
At least
that.
That's what it seemed to indicate.
I don't know. Seems like a long time to me.
Yeah, it was
3 months to. Yeah, you're not going to want to live in a hotel for 3 months,
right?
But anyways, they're kind of all spread out. They got a bit of a commute, from wherever these houses were available, and so they're making their way into the studio. So it does feel a little disjointed on that regard, but
from what I could tell,
they're all there.
I mean, they're not. It doesn't seem as faction-y as before, but they're. The way that Ricky describes it in some interviews is you'd come in and do some work and then go, and sometimes you'd encounter the other guys, sometimes you wouldn't. They rarely saw Brian because apparently he worked kind of at night. He would come in alone at night. Mm-hmm. And according to Carlin, the book, Brian would just hang out at home looking out the window. He'd smoke a lot of pot, drink a lot of hard cider, and he had a rented Mercedes.
William Henry Harrison.
He would take his rented Mercedes out, and at one point he crashed it. He wrapped it around a telephone pole, is the way he puts it, but didn't get hurt. He just kind of stumbled out oh.
And went back to the duty-free shop.
To buy some more hard cider.
So he's just, he's not really into it. But he does do some work. He does make some contributions.
Well, he was really, really into his own little pet project at the time, too.
Oh, gosh. Yeah.
You're really going to roll your eyes at that?
I am.
Yeah.
Oh, see. All right.
Well, actually, which one are you talking about? Spring, or are you talking about Fairway and whatever?
Mount Vernon and Fairway. Yeah.
He was really into Spring also. I don't know if that was exactly this. I think that was earlier. Actually.
I was going to say, I thought that was
that was a couple years earlier.
Yeah. That was Spring, for those who don't know. Also, it was known as American Spring. It was a group that his wife and I guess
the Rovell sisters.
The Rovells,
Oh no! Is this another alternate reality I'm going to go down?
Yeah.
Because if Dennis Wilson's poops hubba hubba, and Carl's passions,
I still don't think that's real.
I am curious about Spring because I don't think it's on Spotify, but it in a lot of ways,
it's an actual thing. It's
almost a Brian solo album in and of itself. There's a version of "Love You" on there, which ends up on sorry, not "Love You," "Good Time," which ends up on "Love You" a few years later, but sung by the Rovell sisters. So I'm really curious about it. I want to track it down somehow too.
I have it on MP3.
yeah?
I can try to get it for you.
Yeah.
Here we are arranging illicit MP3 trade deals on our 2.4 billion listener podcast. But it's tough to. It is a little tough to track down. I don't remember how I came about it. The album cover of it is really, really like intriguingly creepy. I don't know.
Well, in our defense, hey Brian, we want you to re-release it on vinyl. Yeah, there it is. We want to give you our money.
But yeah, Brian's side project at this point, I guess, was Mount Vernon. What is it called? Mount Vernon and Fairway.
Vernon and Fairway,
which is the street corner where Mike Love grew up, I guess.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. As its own side, maybe we'll do that.
Sure. Yeah, I don't have a lot to say about it, honestly.
All right. Well, let's take a quick break. Unless, did you guys have any other context that you wanted to get to?
No.
I think that probably wraps it. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's take a break and we'll come back and talk about the A-side.
Yeah.
During the break, we were all doing a little bit of shopping for that spring album on Discogs. Yeah. I like it. It's an interesting album.
I'm going to check it out after this.
Yeah. I don't know that we'll do a podcast episode. I don't know. Maybe we'll see.
Maybe a little...
We'd have to go back and be backtracking. But, yeah. All right. Well, we're here to talk about Holland. Side A.
Side A.
Side A. So you slide this album out and you put it down, and you hear a song that was not recorded in Holland.
No.
Not even close.
So yeah, Sail on Sailor, track 1.
Yep.
It was a late edition because I guess the original track order didn't have any hits, quote unquote, and the record label was like, "Come on,
get your shit together, boys. We spent $1.7 billion sending you over to Amsterdam. What were you doing over there in Amsterdam? I mean,
what was the first track?
Doobies.
Yeah,
I'm not
hanging
sure.
Out in the.
There was a Blondie song that got kicked off by this. I don't know if it was track 1, and I don't remember what it was called. But yeah, I guess Van Dyke kind of kicked Brian's ass into finishing this one because it had already kind of existed, and the writing credits are real confusing on it too. There's a bunch of names.
Yeah.
But they put it together, and it did. And Blondie ended up singing it, and it did end up being like this is the one recognizable one that I think even some casual Beach Boys fans recognize.
Yeah.
Like, this would probably be on like a best of compilation or whatever.
It's fantastic. It's great.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here is an appropriate use of Glenn saying fantastic.
And I wanted to say
this is legitimately a fantastic song.
And Marcella are both fantastic.
No, Marcella is...
my note on Sail on Sailor,
fantastic.
My note on this song is that it's great, but kind of the least interesting thing on the album. Because
it's the most conventional.
It's just a conventional radio, good time hit song, which is fine, and it is good.
It's very good. Nice lead vocal by Blondie.
But often when I put on this album, I just don't even listen to this one. I'll just start on Steamboat. Yeah,
that's weird.
That is weird.
Well, because the album's pretty weird, and I like it.
It is.
I like it a lot.
Okay.
Yeah. This is a really good song. Apparently, it was a pretty good sized hit. And it's great. It's a Brian Van Dyke, and as you said, a lot of other people who get some
Tandem Almer. That's
that troubled
the weirdo,
the bad neighborhood boy.
Yeah. I think the song's called "Along Comes Mary" or something about Mary, the association song.
Along Comes Tandem.
Yeah. All right. So track 2, Steamboat. This is a Dennis and Daryl one, I believe. Written.
Fucking Daryl. This guy just
Daryl Dragon. But this is the one that Dennis wrote, but Carl sings. And again, like I said, really Dennis for a lot of this was away in the Canary Islands. He wasn't really all that involved in actually the actual recording process. I like this one.
Did he get there by steamboat?
Maybe that's why it took him so long.
Yeah.
I like this song. It's dreamy. I have that it feels like you're underwater. I think it's cool.
It's super like just like I don't want to. This is a negative connotation, but it's very plotting. It's like super like slow and kind of drugged out a little bit. But I like it. It's just a weird song for the second song on the album.
Yeah.
Like you've got this
After
nice
Sail-
momentum,
yeah,
and
right,
then
right,
it's
right.
just like, but it Dennis writing a song about fucking Robert Fulton.
Is that it?
Yeah. It's the guy who
who invented the steam
demonstrated the first
engine?
practical use of the steamboat, like 1807 or somewhere in there. And Dennis I'll fucking write a song about that. Like, actually, kind of cool. Yeah. I mean, they've always been on this weird periphery of kind of Americana stuff. To me, it reminds me of the Cabanescence, Head Out West, Who Ran the Iron Horse, like all that kind of
shit ton of that on this album.
Yeah, and I like it. I dig it. Mm-hmm. It is slow and laggy and everything, but it's good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Glenn, you like it?
Yeah. No, totally. I mean, yeah. Dennis can do no wrong, as long as he's not doing it. Yeah. It's a non-Dennis doing it song, unless he's doing it on a steamboat. I don't know.
Very slowly and
maybe
methodically. Anyway,
okay.
So the next three are a suite.
They are,
and this next one might be controversial.
Let's take them one at a time.
Yeah. Please, can we take them one at a time?
I'm curious how we all sync up on this next one.
Okay. Well, this pains me to do it. Mm-hmm. It pains me to do it, but this is the best thing that Mike Love has ever done.
You might say the only worthwhile contribution of Mike Love. That's how I have.
I actually really like Big Sur.
I do too. We're talking about the California Saga. The first of the three is called Big Sur, written music and lyrics by Mike Love.
And it's great.
And I believe it is the first song that he gets his own full credit billing for.
Yep. Because he actually wrote it.
It won't be the last, people. Just wait there. Now, this is interesting. First off, I can't remember where it was. It was in a YouTube comment, or maybe on the Instagram or something. But one of our listeners, I think a loyal, positive, good, listener, had said,
"Yeah, it was Instagram." Yeah,
I'm wondering what's going to happen when you guys get to Big Sur and have to acknowledge an actual decent Mike Love song.
Yeah.
This is a decent Mike Love song.
Yeah,
it is. Not just decent. It's actually good.
Yeah.
This whole suite is them feeling homesick because they are in Holland and they're thinking about California.
Interestingly enough, though, this isn't a new song.
Really?
So we've been talking about the whole Landlocked, Sunflower, that era, and this was one of the songs that was originally slated to be on Landlocked. In a very different version. And now here's the thing. All right, I know Mike come at me. Lawyers ablazing, okay? But I think it's time for an episode of Heroes and Villains.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, it's time for Heroes and Villains. We're discussing the heroes and the villains, whatever it is we happen to be talking about this week. And this week we're talking about the Netherlands. Yeah. And specifically right now, we are talking about the first part of the California Saga, a trilogy. This is exciting stuff.
Oh boy.
We have the first Mike Love, exclusively written Mike Love song on a Beach Boys album. And you know what? It doesn't suck.
Yeah.
I call bullshit.
Ooh.
I call bullshit.
Interesting.
Wow. Okay.
Did Mike Love write these lyrics? Almost certainly, sure.
Sure. Well,
but here's the thing. Listen to the original version of this song as it was recorded for what would have been Landlocked.
Right.
There's a chordal complexity to this. There is an arrangement that is pretty thick. I do not buy that Mike Love wrote the music to this song. So here's the question that I have. All these years, have we ever seen Mike Love play an instrument that has the ability to do chords? Like, if this were Mike Love written, it probably would have been Big Sur, Big Sur.
Yeah.
Right? We know that he is not a musical composer. So did he maybe perhaps kind of come up with a little bit of a tune that he came to somebody else? I don't know, maybe Brian Wilson with?
it wouldn't be the first time Brian more or less wrote a song for someone else in the band and didn't take credit for it.
And then
right?
just punted exactly
Mm-hmm.
on the credit part of it, because that first version, and I like the one that's here on Holland. It's a good song. That first version of it is like gorgeous.
Okay.
It's great, and it's really lush, and it sounds really, really full. It sounds like a Brian Wilson joint. It really does. And it just reminds us that the hero of the Beach Boys is and always will be one Brian
Wilson.
Wilson.
Yeah. So you're saying that Brian, hey Brian, if you're listening,
we know you are.
You should sue Mike this time for reverse royalties for Big Sur.
Get what is coming to you.
Get what's coming. We know you wrote this, Brian. It's too good.
It is.
It's too good.
And we know this song has been filling up Mike Love's bank account like nobody's business.
Exactly.
Such a big hit.
He's
Every
got
time I play
a yacht based on this song.
I want my money going to Brian, not Mike.
Exactly. And the villain is, of course, eternally always
Mike Love.
Mike Love.
Yeah.
For
daring to be decent.
I'll tell you why.
But for taking the credit for a good song that you didn't do on
How
your
did
own.
we manage to make Mike
He's
Love
over
the
there
villain?
scooping kibbles and bits into his mouth. He's like, Brian, write me a song.
Well, I got another reason for his villainy. And like you said, he obviously he did write the lyrics, and it's obvious because of the line where it sounds like he kind of wants to fuck the woods.
Oh.
I mean, he says, "Big Sir," what does he say? "Big Sir, I got plans for you. Me and mine are going to add ourselves to your lengthy list of lovers."
Oh.
He wants to fuck the forest. So more villainy there.
Better to fuck the forest than to fuck with the formula.
That's right.
Wait. Are you saying that Mike is a tree hugger?
He's a tree something.
Okay.
It's a tree fucker.
Oh.
Yeah. Which maybe, I don't know, maybe it's better than a pig fucker. Or whatever.
Hey. Ooh, okay.
Better than hot Carl.
Yikes.
Great episode of Heroes and Villains.
Yeah.
One of the best.
Wow.
All right. So yeah, that's a good song. Way to go, Brian.
Yeah, good job, Brian.
All right.
Nicely done.
And now little Alvin gets involved.
Okay.
So this is interesting.
See, I always skip this. I can't
I
handle
like
it.
You can't skip
I can't handle it.
a
It's
middle part of a
too-
trilogy.
It's too...
This is the Empire Strikes Back of the California saga.
No.
So here's the thing about the second one's called "The Beaks of Eagles." It's based on a poem. Based on a poem by a guy named something Robinson Jeffers. I had to look it up.
Okay.
And in the line about the mother eagle mating with one of her sons is in the original poem. That's the part that I thought was a little weird.
At least the mother eagle ain't fucking a tree.
That's right. But the thing is, there's that spoken word part that Mike does. And actually, Al does the second stanza or whatever. And then it goes back to Mike. It's kind of like, not pretentious, but it has this sort of epic, I don't know, kind of an environmental message. I don't know what I'm trying to say there, but the song part I think is really catchy and really good. Well, I like that. It's kind of creepy, and they even start off part one with a little bit of that. But then the actual it kind of becomes
it's good.
like, kind of gets into a major key, and I don't mind the spoken word part.
Yeah.
It's very evocative. Obviously, they didn't write the words, so it generates imagery.
I like.
I do like it.
Yeah,
Nope,
yeah.
you guys are wrong.
You were right. The song part is really good. Yeah.
You're wrong. I have
You're wrong.
I have a playlist
You and your fucking playlist.
of all songs with spoken word on them that are actually good, and nothing from this album release is on that playlist. The spoken word.
It's mostly the Doors, right?
If we're talking poets,
No. Yeah, no.
To double check.
I did give a quick little swipe, but there's some Tom Waits.
do you have Nirvana by Tom Waits? I think I've hyped that one to you before. When we were talking about
I've never heard that.
It's a Charles Bukowski thing. It's
added
really,
it.
really good. I love that.
I think there's some Gil Scott-Heron on here.
All right, hey, we got to move on.
Yeah. Anyways.
All right, so then the saga ends
With California,
Hey, the California saga concludes with California.
which is still written by Al, I didn't realize. And Brian makes a guest appearance to sing
does.
the opening line. On the way in Southern California. But then it goes into this...
Let me do my stuff. Sorry, it's been a while.
There's just that sort of cool water thing that's happening in this that is not really in the other cool water song, but I feel like it's probably part of that same era or whatever.
Yeah. I mean,
it's like a theme.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest.
But I like this song a lot.
I'm going to be honest. I have already flipped the disc.
Really?
At this point.
Crazy.
I do not. As soon as that dumb spoken word starts, I get up and I flip the disc.
But then they got this. This is just a full-on song. You're talking about Steinbeck and Country Joe and the Fish. And it's good. Yeah. I like it.
I do
celebratory.
Too. Yeah, it's summery. Right. It's, I mean... That's what we want from the Beach Boys. We want to be reminded of the warm months and
the
good
carnivals.
Times.
So this is the thing,
and all of that fun shit. Like, because
Hot rods?
Been a while.
But the thing is, this is so much better than "Do It Again," which is supposed to be a throwback. This actually feels like one of their old songs while feeling elevated somehow.
Yeah, it almost could be on like "Dias de verano y también sos noches."
Wow.
I've never participated in that because I don't know the first part.
Yeah.
I just let him do the first part so I can do else notice.
But yeah, no, it's good. It's like a successful version of that. It's like they actually achieved like this is kind of a throwback, but it works.
All right, I'll go straight to California then and listen to that on my drive home this afternoon.
Get over your hatred of the middle part. It's fine. Right. It's cheesy, but it's a Beach Boys song.
Yeah.
So it's supposed to be cheesy.
All right.
All right, hey, let's take a quick break and we're going to come back and talk about... let's actually sidestep and we'll talk about the thing that Brian's in the middle of while they're doing this, right?
Sure.
No?
I just don't have anything really to say about it other than it's silly and dumb.
Hey, you wait a minute.
All right, let's
come
talk
back
about
and
the
talk
B-side.
about it.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, despite Matt's efforts to jump the shark, we are not...
Jump the gun.
Yeah.
Oh.
This show jumped the shark a long time. Let's be honest.
Side 2 of Holland is The Traitor. Carl...
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. We're not going to talk about the Brian thing just yet.
Yet.
They have reminded
Not
me
yet.
that it's technically referred to as sides C and D. So fine, I will accept this.
So The Traitor,
Track 1.
Carl
side 2.
Wilson, composition,
with Jack Riley's words,
right?
I say fucking great.
Fucking great.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
This is my favorite Carl song.
Yeah, I mean,
I like it more than Long Promised Road. We had that conversation a couple weeks ago, and one of you guys said, Carl's best song. I was like,
No.
maybe.
I like
well,
Long
I may have
Promised
said
Road
up to that point.
Up to that point, sure, yeah. But I think this is better.
Very good.
Very
It's
good.
long.
It's long, but it's great because it's in those two. It has those sort of two movements.
Distinct halves, yeah.
Yeah, and this is again going back to like the sort of American history. It's,
he's
Manifest Destiny and slavery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I mean, I guess that's more Jack's contribution, but still, it's really good. Like, especially coming out of the California Saga, it's like, wow, is this whole album just these epic long, pieces? And that would have been fine if it was.
And it is really interesting. They leave the United States and they just like make this really American sounding record because they're like kind of homesick.
Right.
And that's cool. It reminds me in that way. I don't know. This won't resonate probably with either of you guys, but Fables of the Reconstruction by REM, their third album, and they went and recorded it in London, and apparently they were really miserable and upset there the whole time. And they made this like really, really like intensely Americana homesick kind of record that's also kind of dark, as I think Holland kind of is as well too. It's sort of this reflecting on America from a distance. And so there's like this complexity, I guess, of it. But this is a great song. And that second half of it is gorgeous.
It really is.
Just those harmonies and
good stuff.
I really, really like The Traitor. I think this was our pick for the catalog crawl as well. Yes, it was. Yeah,
cool. Well, next one is Leaving This Town, which it kind of fits in with the theme too of like I mean, literally they left town to go to Amsterdam. This is soulful. I can see you thinking, someone saying it's a little cheesy, a little schmaltzy or whatever, but I think it's good.
Yep.
It's a Blondie vocal, Blondie and Ricky.
Not a Beach Boys song.
No, now here's the thing.
Carl and Mike both have co-writing credits.
Well,
on this song.
and their song here actually feels like it is of a piece with the rest of the record.
Yeah.
Whereas the ones on that album by the band Carl and the Passions didn't really feel of a whole with the rest of it. But this one does. And I think that's maybe part of my thing is they're like, well, we got these two new guys and we're trying to hurry up and finish up this record and it can't be 24 minutes long. So we've got to have something. We're going to throw these couple of songs by these new dudes who haven't really been integrated into the band in a sense like they are, long time contributing members. It's just throw it on there. But now it feels like these are guys who have been in the Beach Boys for a little bit.
I was going to say that earlier. They're much better integrated this time around. But this is the standout as far as feeling more like a Flame song or whatever, kind of like a solo thing. But there are contributions from the other guys, and it does feel more like part of the album for sure. Next one is called "Only with You," which I keep forgetting how it sounds, but I do like it every time I'm reminded what it is. It's like, okay, this is one of those Dennis ones that Carl sings. Yeah. It is a little schmaltzy.
Definitely schmaltzy. Apparently he collaborated with Mike on it, I want to say, too.
I think Mike wrote the words, supposedly.
Yeah. I mean, his name is there. But I do think it's funny that this is a repeat of the phrase, all I want to do. And it's all I want to do. It's not in the same context as his other song incorporating that word or that phrase.
Yeah.
But I like it. It's good. It fits.
Yeah.
It's maybe my least favorite thing on here, but it's fine.
Maybe same, but still.
Yeah.
How do y'all feel about Funky Pretty?
It's interesting. This is similar. Well, I don't know where it was written necessarily and recorded, but it sounded like it was kind of thrown together really quickly too.
So this is the other big Brian contribution, apparently. So I don't know if
everyone kind of
also
trades
part of that
lead vocals. Brian is playing drums on this one. Ricky was out sick. I like it, but I think it's really weird. Kind of a weird way to end.
It is sort of a weird song. Just the whole notion of it, but it's fine. I don't love it.
Yeah.
Didn't Van Dyke, did he have something to do with this one too?
Yeah, I think so. I don't.
Oh, no, actually no. I mean, not according to radio music, just A1. So this was, but I seem to remember always seeing this is the other one that they really, give Brian a lot of credit for. But yeah.
Yeah, it's it doesn't. I don't know. It's good. I do like it. I'm on the positive end of
I'm kind of on the meh end of it, but it's fine.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right, are we going to rate the album now, or is the...
Oh, no, let's do the other thing.
Yeah,
the album's not over, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
I mean,
it is. Because when you pull out the record and this other little thing falls out, but you know what? Pulling out the record reminds me, it's time for an episode of Sound and Vision.
Okay.
All right, it's time for Sound and Vision, where we discuss all things aesthetic using the scale provided to us by David Bowie. Glenn, if we really like something, we call it a...
Low.
That's right, David Bowie's masterpiece. Tim, if we don't like something, we call it a...
Never Let Me Down.
In which David Bowie definitely did. David. Come on, David. Come on. Pull yourself together, man. And if it's the middle, there's a comfortable middle ground. Call it Let's Dance. David Bowie's okayest album. All right, well, we are talking about the Netherlands.
Holland.
Dutchville.
Are we rating this album as Holland or as Mount Vernon and Fairway?
That's its own thing. Let's talk about the cover of Holland first off. We are talking about a piece of visual art right now.
Oh, okay. Right. All right.
What is your you are so smug today.
I'm just saying Okay, so Holland.
And last week, by the way.
And last week,
Yeah,
that's
you
true.
were also very smug last week.
Well, I like Carl and the
Did
Passions.
you wake up on the wrong side of the bed?
Maybe.
Both of those 2 different days?
Or on the right side of the bed.
Yeah, I think Glenn's in a very good mood.
I dig the cover of Holland.
I do too. I'm kind of a sucker for you take a picture with a reflection in water and flip it upside down.
I think it's kind of fun. Their world's been turned upside down.
Yeah.
I think the vibe of the album fits the aesthetic on the cover. It's kind of dark. It's kind of bluesy. It's or blue-y, not bluesy. Yeah.
Gosh, yeah, I like it. I don't know if I want to call it a low.
No, yeah, I wouldn't say that it's a low. It's kind of cool. I mean, it's a little dreary.
Right.
I like the-
similar
but so
to
is
Surf's
the
Up.
album.
And Surf's Up is even more dreary, I would say.
Yeah.
I like the typography in there. It's kind of like a little hand drawn Holland. It's understated.
So I think what I like about it, because I've said a few times that I prefer when their album covers have like a artwork, like a painting or something, rather than a photo. And because so much of the image is reflected in water that's all ripply, it looks like a painting. So maybe that makes
a photo?
yeah. That makes me like it more.
Yeah, I think that's why I like it.
Yeah, it's fine. I'm okay with it. I don't love it. I don't hate it. I think it's a Let's Dance.
Maybe I'll give it a not as low.
No, you can't do that.
I'll give it a...
Are you giving it a soft low? Because I was going to give it a hard Let's Dance.
Give you a hard Let's Dance.
Hey-o!
Yeah, it's right in between.
Yeah.
It's a Let's Dance. Let's be honest here.
All right, but can we consider the whole package here? Because when this was released, the whole package here was, hey, the Beach Boys moved to Holland.
Yeah, and this other little EP
And
falls
here,
out.
look, this is what you get. The last time we dropped something, it was a 2-record set. It was Carl and the Passion So Tough and Pet Sounds. And now here's this with an EP. Mount Vernon and Fairy Tales, which I was this years old when I saw the cover of. I've never seen it.
Me neither. I
today.
can't even read. What's in the blue part? What are those words?
Are they even words?
I think so.
It says tuning and volume.
Because
there's the whole thing
That's
about
the
it, like the
the
magic transistor
transistor.
radio.
Oh, that's what it is. Okay.
Magic Transistor Radio. There it is. It's upside down. Ooh, another upside down.
Well, it's sideways.
Image.
Yeah, it's
Well, I guess it depends on how you look at it. I'm seeing one now where it's sideways, but then if you flip it that way,
Magic Transistor Radio is upside down.
No, you're just looking at it wrong. Anyway, so yeah, Mount Vernon and Fairway. We're just strictly talking about the artwork here right now.
I mean, I said before that
It's creepy.
It's psychotic. But now that I know what it's supposed to be, it's a little bit less creepy. It's colorful, but it's like a crayon drawing or a marker drawing.
Who did it?
Do you know this for a fact? That
No, I read somewhere in the Sail and Sailor box set that Mike might have had something to do with it, but I don't know.
Did he draw it when he was a child?
I don't know.
nah, I don't. I mean, because the whole thing is Brian's kind of idea, the Magic Transistor Radio. Although maybe he got the idea from Mike. Maybe that's why he named it after the street where Mike grew up.
We'll talk about that when we talk about the music.
Yeah.
But bottom line is, it's fine. It's Let's Dance.
Yeah, Let's Dance. Okay. Good,
So,
good
so
episode.
the entire package is a Let's Dance.
Yeah, Let's Dance.
All right, good episode. Yeah. Okay. Let's take one quick break, and we're going to come back and talk specifically about this EP in its own little segment here. Even though Tim doesn't think he has much to say about it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right, we'll be right back.
We're back on the podcast that has a name. We're talking about the bonus EP included in Holland called Mount Vernon and Fairway, and it stinks.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. I'm just trying to rile up Matt because he
My-
likes
Yeah,
it.
see, the thing
Well-
is, you don't even think that.
Well, we
Glenn.
talked
No,
about...
I do. I think it's dumb.
What we talked about in the break, though, real quick, is just that apparently the instrumental version with no narration is cool. My primary problem with this is the narration, because
Yeah,
Jack
that's it.
Riley reading,
100%.
he's just got his radio DJ voice, and it sounds terrible.
It's dumb.
I would have
South
preferred...
Park voices.
Yeah, I would have rather heard Mike Love do the narration.
So Mike Love is actually a big part of this.
So Mike Love should have, because his chosen career path should have been voicing cartoons and
right.
children's. I mean, I think this would have suited him much better if he had done this, and we could have laughed at it.
So Mike Love was apparently the inspiration for this. And Brian imagined Mike Love as like the prince of the story
Okay.
who lived in this castle or whatever. And the reason why was apparently, and we've talked about this before on the show, the Beach Boys lived in this modest little, suburban tract home, and the Loves...
They grew up living on the beach in California. Literally, they were homeless.
Well, their forebears actually did, yeah. But anyway, so the Wilsons grew up in this modest suburban tract home, and the Loves lived in this, really nice 2-story house. There was money in the family.
Mansion.
And so Brian had kind of talked about how he looked at his
they were
cousin's
rich.
home as like his castle, and so he imagines this scenario of Mike as the young prince on the upper floors of the castle, listening to this magic transistor
Well, that makes
radio
sense.
or whatever.
Because Mount Vernon and Fairway was the street corner. where the
Correct,
house was.
exactly,
Okay.
yeah. So that's this whole I don't know.
So
I don't know. It's deep enough to call it an allegory or anything like that,
Right.
but it's this thing that Brian is apparently super into, while all of the other guys are in Holland, making the album Holland. Brian's like, fuck that. I'm like, whatever. I'm gonna just work on this weird ass little thing with synthesizers.
and his intention is to put it on the album.
yeah, which would have been awesome because we've already said it's like a weird fucking album. Like this one,
Yeah.
You got the California Saga, and then you
Well,
got this
It
thrown right
is.
in there.
It's part
in
of the
middle,
album.
right?
It is.
But it ruins it for me because, when I was first, starting to listen to Holland, I got to listen to Holland, I would get to a point where I'd be like, what the hell is this shit at the end? And it would be like, I don't know if I want to listen to that album and with all that bullshit at the end. And I realized, it's a separate thing. Funky Pretty's the last song. Now I love this album.
See, I can't divorce those. I see this as all part of it.
See, and I actually really don't.
I mean, I'm not including this in my rating of Holland.
When I first really, got into Holland years and years and years ago, it was probably even a while before I ever actually heard this part of it. But I like it for what it is. Is it great? No. It's just this, thing that just kind of reminds us that, hey, you know what? Brian Wilson is still part of the entity that is the Beach Boys, and Brian Wilson is off on his own doing his own very, very different thing from the rest of them. And this is where his heart was at that moment.
Yeah.
While the rest of them are trying to keep the Beach Boys this relevant thing that goes out and plays tours and has hits on the radio and whatever. And Brian's like, I want to do this now. This is what what I'm into.
This is another example of something that he brought to the group, and they were like, what the hell are you talking about, Brian? And that's why it wasn't on the album.
Put it out as the Beach.
Well, right, yeah. But Carl felt bad, and he's the one who went to Brian and said, why don't we do it as an EP? We'll package it with the album.
Yeah.
I don't know if that had anything to do with why Jack is the one narrating it. I imagine it was already recorded at that point. But yeah, I think it's a weird choice to put Jack as the narrator.
I just don't understand how you can accept this and not Carl and the Passions.
Because this has Brian Wilson on it. That's why.
Oh, okay.
Look, do I think this is better than Carl and the Passions? No, but I feel like this is more, if I want to know where the creative energy of the Beach Boys, as they are to me, is in 1973 or 72, this is where Brian's heart is.
Yeah, drinking tree sap or isn't that what he's
hard cider,
apple sap or something? Tree sap,
hard cider. Glenn, have you
ever heard of it?
He is drunk, huddled in the corner of the duty-free shop,
Drinking
listening
mead
to a transistor radio, and Randy Newman sail away, and this is what comes in his illness.
Yeah. He's
Yeah.
Look, is it great? No, but it's a fun little curiosity.
Sure, it is curious. The spoken word bugs me, but I would be happy to throw on the instrumental version and just vibe out to it.
I'm gonna look it up now.
Yeah.
And listen to it.
Yep. There it is.
All right. Well, let's take a quick break, and we're going to come back and do our evaluation of Holland as an album.
Well, okay. We could just do it now. I mean, we don't usually take a break before we do that.
well then fine.
It's trash. It's trash. You can't separate these. It's not a Beach Boys album. It's
No, honestly.
All right, fine. No, yeah, we'll evaluate it right now. Holland / Mount Vernon and Fairway.
Well, let's just do Holland. I'm just doing Holland.
Okay.
no.
at
You
least
got to do
first.
it both. You got to do the whole.
They're not in the same package.
Yes,
I mean,
they are.
They're in the same cellophane, but not in the same sleeve. I am just I'm like dangerously close to giving this a Brian, even though
What?
Brian is not even really there. Just because it's like
What is wrong with
like
you?
I'll just listen to it beginning to end. Like this is great. It's perfect.
No.
Yeah.
No. Carl and the Passions is better than Holland.
No.
Oh, wow.
No.
Now that's a bad
No.
take.
No.
Like they are not.
I
even,
like Carl
they
and
are
the Passions,
not
but that is
even
not
close.
No.
the
No.
case.
The Mount Vernon Storytellers is bizarre. The fairy tale
Sucks.
is just
Yeah.
weird and
Exactly.
dumb, and it's
And it's
part
not
of
part
this.
of the album.
Yes, it is.
Hold on.
And
Before I
so
started
is
talking,
this
I said
dumb poetry.
the context of
reading.
my rating does not include Mount Vernon, so you can't include it if you're responding to this. You know what I mean? You can't judge my thing based on your criteria.
Okay, so we're rating this as Holland.
As Holland,
I still think Holland is good, but so is Carl and the Passions.
so is
And I'm just saying,
this is a step up. So I'm going to give it a Dennis.
I'm giving it a Carl, but it's the same Carl that I gave Carl and the Passions.
Okay.
But I personally prefer Carl and the Passions, and I can't get over the dumb poetry of the end of the California Saga.
The middle.
I don't like the
Right.
fact that Mike Love is putting out something that's beautiful that he had nothing to do with.
Well,
certainly Brian Wilson created it.
Maybe.
And I don't like the fact of thinking that me enjoying this is giving Mike Love satisfaction.
Sure.
And therefore,
I think
tick down.
It all adds up with how you reacted to each individual song for sure. So I don't expect you to give it that
carrying
high
a whole lot of baggage. Here.
Dude, I told you I went down some rabbit holes. I've been swimming through multiverses, and my emotions are bobbing on the ocean here.
Right. So, like I said, for me, it's almost perfect. I can't really give it a Brian. I'll give it a Dennis.
Even with the eagle and
I like that one.
He already told you that he likes.
I was going to say, if you tack on Mount Vernon, it drops it down to like an owl for me.
Yeah, I think sometimes you guys will downgrade stuff if there's a piece that you don't like it too much, like the whole Surf's Up thing.
No.
Like I feel like there was a conversation. I think there's a world in which I can give that one a Brian actually, and that it is up there with.
Mm-hmm. I can't
with the greats, but
you
guys,
downgrade it because of student demonstration.
I don't. I just don't know that I've yet taken it to the point where the other material in that album yet elevates it, and I don't think it just totally it would have been a Brian, but student demonstration yes, the student demonstration time is awful, but it doesn't just completely derail it to where it would take it away from being a Brian per se. Whereas I don't know.
I think it doesn't you can't say that one bad song makes an album bad, but I think you can say one bad song keeps an album from being perfect.
Yeah, sure, but
And
perfection.
Brian is
look,
the
this
perfect
group only reached perfection once, but it doesn't mean that it's their only Brian. But anyway, back to my rating. So Glenn, you're giving it a soft Carl,
maybe an owl.
This is a. I know we're forbidden from using the term that I would use here, but it's a
strong Carl.
It's a strong Carl. Yes, it's a strong Carl. We put it at number 11 on the catalog crawl, above All Summer Long, which we've already talked about. We really like above Surfer Girl, which is really good.
To be
certainly above Carl and the Passions. So tough.
To be fair,
almost in the top 10.
To be fair, Rate Your Music gives Carl and the Passions a Bruce Johnston a 3.0. Rate Your Music gives Holland an Al Jardine a 3.5.
Yeah. because Rate Your Music is right in this case. I think they have both of them a little bit low, but Holland is definitely better than Carl and the Passions. Tim is completely right about this one.
It's more consistent. Its
highs are high.
Doesn't feel like a patchwork.
Like look. I mean, first off, there's on the album proper, and I know Glenn doesn't like the whole spoken word thing, but the spoken word thing happens in the middle of a really cool song. The lows on Holland are nowhere near as bad as He Come Down.
Get rid of Mike Love. Get over Mike Love. And
no, first off, He Come Down just sucks. The worst song on that album is worse than the worst song on Holland.
No, it's not.
The two best songs on Holland, I would say, are way better than the best stuff.
Eagle Incest automatically drops Holland.
Sail on Sailor and The Traitor are like both way better than anything that's on Carl and the Passions.
At the risk of being anti-Dutch, the Netherlands are one of the reasons that Student Demonstration Time was so successful. It was a big hit in Netherlands. Netherlands, Holland, they love Student Demonstration Time.
Well, a lot of people don't speak English there, and so they just didn't know the garbled, stupid messaging. I know.
The thing about the Netherlands is that they were named after, your private parts. Like, look, down in the Netherlands. This is where all the action happens. That's why there's the red light district.
That's how I feel about this album.
The Nether regions.
Belongs in the Nether region. No, it's fine. It's a Carl. It's a Carl. Soft Carl.
It's a really good album.
It's a Dennis.
It's a really, really good album. And bizarrely just placed in a strange position. Like, this is their last album for 3 years.
It's like in some ways it is kind of like the last Beach Boys album. I mean, a lot of people.
It does feel like a Beach Boys album
in a sense. Well, it feels way more like a Beach Boys album than Carl and the Passions.
Agreed.
But then after this, you've got just like a couple little gasps of relevance, and then like that's it.
Yeah.
Hey! Spoiler alert! We still got a podcast to go here.
I still would have preferred that they just called it quits after Surf's Up.
Sure.
And that this came out as like a Carl-led. Carl and the Passions Part 2 or whatever.
I mean, if these were the first two Carl and the Passions records of an illustrious, line of albums, that would have been great.
Yeah. Yep.
Y'all are telegraphing your hand. We got some episodes.
The rest
to
of
go.
the podcast is going to suck ass.
This is where it gets better because the music gets worse, right? I mean,
that's true.
Some
The Wikipedia entries are going to get a lot shorter. Thankfully,
right.
Good times.
Yeah. All right, rated it.
Good times coming up soon.
Oh, okay, fair.
All right, let's take a quick break and we'll come back to wrap it all up.
Yeah.
To wrap it all up, Glenn, have you gotten the smugness out of your system?
Yeah, a little bit.
When we come back next week to talk about what do we have next?
Concert.
Oh yeah. They like we said, they stopped making new albums for a little while. They got a concert and they got this compilation.
Oh no, that's right. Yeah.
We also have we got to get to the second half of that made-for-TV movie too.
Ooh, okay.
That's coming up pretty.
There's
soon.
some stuff coming. Yeah, we'll have some fun. Yeah.
All right. Well, in the meantime, y'all know what to do. Like, subscribe, comment. Check out all that great content on strangecurrenciesmusic.com. Follow our Talkin' Beach Boys on Instagram.
Check out this website called Wikipedia, something like that. .com. Yeah.
Wikipedia.
Yep. So yeah, hey, thanks for coming along on our trip to the Netherlands.
Talking down the highway.
Yeah.
Talking across the Atlantic.
Talking down the steamboat. Yeah.
We'll catch you next time.
Later.
Bye.